Lesson 10. Outs and their importance. In this lesson, we will learn about outs and how they can affect your game. An out is any card that is not currently visible, which, if dealt on the board, will improve a player's hand. Let's see an example demonstrating how to count your outs. Let's count your outs. You have a flush draw. There are 2 spades on the flop, and your hole cards are both spades. If any other spade is dealt, it will complete your hand to a flush. You also have a straight draw. The flop contains a 9 and a 10, and your hole cards are a jack and a queen. If any other king is dealt, it will complete your hand to a straight. We already counted the king of spades in the flush draw, so we don't count it again. If any other 8 is dealt, it will also complete your hand to a straight. We already counted the 8 of spades in the flush draw, so we don't count it again. You also have an overcard draw. The card on the flop of the highest rank is a 10. If any queen or jack is dealt, it will give you a top pair. In this hand, we counted 21 outs. Counting your outs will help you evaluate your winning probability and make better betting decisions. Calculating win probabilities based on outs. This chart gives the precise figures. However, there's also a quick and easy way to calculate your percentage chance of making your hand. It's called the 4 and 2 rule. After the flop, count your outs, then multiply them by 4 to get the percentage chance of making your hand. After the turn, count your outs, then multiply them by 2 to get the percentage chance of making your hand. Note that the more outs you have, the less precise the rule is. For example, when you have 4 outs on the flop, the exact figure is 16.47% and not 16%. When you have 20 outs on the flop, the exact figure is 67.5% and not 80%. Let's count your outs. You have a straight draw. To make your straight, you need a 5 or a 10. There are 4 5s and 4 10s left in the deck, giving you 8 outs. On the flop, you need to multiply your number of outs by 4. 8 times 4 equals 32. This means you have roughly a 32% chance of making your hand. The precise figure is actually 31.5%. The turn is the 3 of clubs. You didn't hit any of your outs. On the turn, you need to multiply your number of outs by 2. 8 times 2 equals 16. This means you have roughly a 16% chance of making your hand. The precise figure here is 17.4%. You have a flush draw. Let's count your outs. To make your flush, you need any heart remaining in the deck. There are 13 hearts in total, and you can account for 4 of them. Your hole cards are both hearts, and there are 2 more on the flop. This means you have 9 outs. On the flop, you need to multiply your number of outs by 4. 9 times 4 equals 36. This means you have roughly a 36% chance of making your hand. The precise figure is actually 35%. The turn is a 7 of clubs. You didn't hit any of your outs. On the turn, you need to multiply your number of outs by 2. 9 times 2 equals 18. This means you have roughly an 18% chance of making your hand. The precise figure is 19.1%. Another way to calculate your odds is the ratio method. To use this method, simply find the ratio between the number of outs that you have and the number of other cards that have yet to be dealt. For example, you have a flush draw on the turn and you want to know the odds of hitting your hand on the river. There are 6 cards you know, your 2 hole cards and the 4 cards on the board. This leaves you with 46 cards in the deck of which you do not know the identity. Out of those 46, there are 9 cards that will make your flush and 37 that will not. If you put this into a ratio, it gives you a 37-9, or roughly a 4-to-1 chance of making your hand. A 4-to-1 ratio is equivalent to 20%. This is very close to the figure that we calculated previously using the 4 and 2 rule. The ratio method is mainly used while calculating pot odds, which you will learn about in the next lesson.